No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Ooh, the gym.
Old stomping grounds. Hank Patterson, fly fishing guide.
Riley Smith, tight end.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Hey, you wouldn't happen to be the kicker?
No, tight end.
Again, thank you. I'm looking for a kicker for Lithia Ford's fall kickoff sale. But you're not the kicker.
No.
Yeah. Nah, the kicker's probably taller and in a lot better shape. So, okay. What position do you play?
Tight end.
Squats. Yeah. Try it sometime.
RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, is going all in this season with an all-star lineup. First up, he led the Broncos to 3 conference championships and 10 20-win seasons. It's Coach Leon Rice. Next, he's the founder and CEO of RowPaint.com. He played a little basketball in high school on the driveway with his mom. It's Andy Rowe.
Oh, no. Want to just paint my house?
Now that I can do. When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust RowPaint.com to get that job done right.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Canned Cocktails is perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Now, here's 4-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Well, greetings, Boise State fans, and welcome to the world's largest sports book. We pulled Mike Prater out of bed for this one. You cannot miss Circa Sports, Circa Resort and Casino here in Las Vegas. Square footage-wise, Mike Prater, the largest sports book in the world. 3 levels of TVs. You come down here on the escalator, and there's folks already ripping up betting tickets at 10 a.m. here, and people screaming and enjoying games, and excited to be here for our day 2 coverage, but day 1 for Boise State. The quarterfinals kicking off tonight.
Oh, it's game day, and we're in Vegas, and it is such a cool sports book. And between the two of us, we've been to so many different sports books, and this is definitely the Palace. I know there's a real Palace that's Caesar's thing down the street, but this is the Palace. That whole section over there. I came down here. I thought it was like 7 o'clock in the morning because you lose track of time in Vegas. That entire section is filled with dudes drinking beer and cheering basketball games, and we're just getting started here. Oh, yeah. So it's very cool. I know Boise State's going to close the deal tonight in terms of a big-time basketball game, but this is going to be a fun day, BJ.
Yeah, we're super excited for this. And you mentioned Boise State. I just showed it on the screen, but over my left shoulder here, Mike Prater, even money. It's a pick'em on the gambling line over there. What do you make? Boise State, New Mexico right now, a pick'em.
This started off, Boise State -1, and it's already gone to a pick'em. I like Boise State, and I'm going to stick with Boise State all season long, and even when they got into trouble, even when they were back-to-back issues and so on and so forth with Boise State, I think they've always tried to figure it out. So I like Boise State today. I will not be placing a bet on Boise State, but I would imagine a lot of Boise State fans are, and I know everybody should be worried about New Mexico and how they looked yesterday and some of the things that they get. New Mexico hasn't won back-to-back games in 2 months, about 7 weeks. Are you kidding me? This team doesn't really intimidate me that much. Boise State took care of business twice during the regular season, and I fully expect them to take care of business tonight as well.
First game coming up in a little over 90 minutes from now. You've got the number 1 seed Utah State, favored by 12, as you see on the screen there, over Fresno State. San Diego State, 4.5 over UNLV. It sounds like one of UNLV's best players, one of the Boone brothers, is out today for UNLV. That hurts them. Nevada is now -3 over Colorado State. And then there you see it at 8:30, over-under of 153.5. Boise State, New Mexico, a pick'em here in Las Vegas. And, Mike, I mean, Boise State beat them twice already this year. I know I know this league is so tough, and I know you say the 3 seed versus 6 seed isn't necessarily a big gap in this league. These are 2 NCAA tournament caliber teams. But what do you make of the Boise State beat them at the pit, beat them 2 weeks ago, and here it is, even an even pick?
First of all, 153 is one of the big highest scoring numbers on the board today. So Vegas expects an absolute blowout game tonight. Not a blowout game, but an offensive game. I think Boise State scored 85 plus in both those games against New Mexico. Yeah. It was that kind of similar scores, 88 to 79 type of score. So we certainly expect that kind of game. Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it plays out. I know Boise State's coming in loose and New Mexico's coming in all fired up after last night's game, but we'll see how it plays out again. I still think Boise State, the veteranship and the coaching and everything about this program right now is in good shape, and just come and play like we talked about in the column that we posted on Bronco Nation News yesterday, and even Leon Rice talked about it. It might be one of the first times Leon Rice and I have ever agreed. A lot of work's been done. Boise State's got its butt, they've worked their butts off to get to this point. Just kind of enjoy the moment, play stress-free basketball. I'm not sure how much more that they can lose or accomplish here in Mountain, other than winning a championship, and that's big. Let's not get carried away. That's a big deal, but I think they got the right mentality. They got the right approach, and I expect them to play really, really well tonight.
We're going to hear in a few minutes from Derek Stevens. You guys had him on your show yesterday, the owner of this place. He talked about the relationship with the Mountain West and how that's developing, and we're going to get into that. You mentioned Leon Rice. Richard Pitino also talked about the matchup. People are walking by with beers at 9 a.m. I just absolutely love this, man.
Hey, there's a mother-in-law.
There is my mother-in-law right there. So, it is. It is just. I love this place. I got sidetracked there, but I just love all the games. And there's like literally 10. I mean, I walked down yesterday, Mike Prater. There was a game on 8:30, and there's a guy living and dying with every shot. He must have had the first half line or something. But if you haven't been down here, you got to get down here. I know you guys have been down here before, but doing the show yesterday outside. Had some meals here, walked around, you and your lovely wife. This place is pretty great, isn't it?
Are you kidding me? It's absolutely spectacular, and having a lot of fun here. And Circa really is a cool place to do, and it's not even that far in terms of jumping into an Uber and going over to Thomas and Mack. So I started seeing Boise State gear last night on Fremont Street. I had some guy come up to me and yell at me, Prater, are you sober? So the fans are in town, and there's not a ton of them yet, but we're starting to see them trickle in, and I would imagine there's going to be 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 Boise State, maybe not that many, maybe a couple thousand Boise State fans inside Thomas and Mack tonight.
Well, it better be because New Mexico travels really well.
Yes, they do.
They had a ton of fans last night for their first round game. They looked really impressive. They crushed Air Force last night. Looked really, really impressive. And they've got to win tonight, Mike Prater. You mentioned Boise State with kind of nothing to lose, and I want to get into that as well. But on the New Mexico side, they've got everything to lose.
Yes.
If they don't win this game tonight, they're probably NIT bound or at maybe sneak into the first 4 in Dayton. This is a must-win game for New Mexico, playing for their tournament lives. And again, they played well yesterday, got some swagger. I saw Jalen House kind of gritty on the court. Like, that's the danger sometime in this game. They've already won a game. They're feeling a little good. Boise State waiting around all day again today to play. What do you think from the New Mexico perspective? A lot of bracketologists have them right on the line. How does that impact this game if they're coming in, they got to win this game tonight?
Well, that's certainly a nice thing for New Mexico to have, a chip on their shoulder, and that's kind of Max Rice basketball, a chip on the shoulder and trying to prove something and get something done. So the first 5, if Boise State can withstand that first 5 to 10 minute flurry, if New Mexico comes out, it's like, we can sense that vibe going on with New Mexico, and Boise State's a little bit flat. Boise State, they struggled early on against Nevada, and Nevada came out on fire. They came out motivated. They came out physical. They were pushing people around and playing really physical, and it caught Boise State off guard. I thought that they were flat. Even Leon Rice thought that they were flat. He went back and looked at the tape and thought, maybe they were too fired up. So there's some emotions going on there. But if New Mexico comes out today and Boise State can neutralize them and just play an equal game, a 50-50 game in the first 5 to 10 minutes and not let the intangibles get in the way, Boise State's a better basketball team and will take care of business in the second half.
Richard Pitino, the coach of New Mexico, and sorry to see I'll give you the free Circa ad there while I get the video here. But Richard Pitino, the coach at New Mexico, he spoke after the game about the matchup with Boise State. Again, when I talked to Richard Pitino, Mike Prater, 10 days ago in Boise, and maybe I'll play that clip later on my pregame show, he's like, hey, we got out physical. They're bigger than us. I mean, the guards for New Mexico are not very big. They're, they're not small, but they're 6'1", 6'2". And you got Max Rice, 6'5".
Yep.
Abo's 6'7". He had 12 rebounds in that last game against New Mexico. And Richard Pitino talked about, like, we can't get any bigger at this point in the season. We are who we are. And he said, if we have to play a team like Boise State in the conference tournament, that's the size advantage is something they can't overcome. So here's Richard Pitino after last night's win over Air Force, talking about the matchup with Boise State tonight.
Just be more tough, be more physical, provide more resistance, do a better job on Stanley and Degenhardt. They were too comfortable last game. Got to keep Buzo off the glass. He hurt us, so everybody's got to be ready. We've put ourselves in a position to go do something special, and 23 wins is great, and we got to get some rest, lock in, and see if we can go get one tomorrow because Boise's a terrific team. They're tough, and we've got to be tougher. Well, I'm eager to get some rest. I'm happy that we played great tonight. We'll go back, we'll watch some film, and we'll go play with amazing energy and spirit. We've got some of the best fans in the world that love to turn this into Pit West. Hopefully they can do that. And see if we've got a high level of respect for Boise, well coached, tough culture, have had a level of consistency that we're trying to build over time, and we've got to give them our best shot because they're really good.
Well, there he is, Richard Pitino. Somebody was asking about the referees, Mike Prater. They don't for the tournament. They don't put that out till literally like 30 minutes before the game. So we'll someone asked. Nobody knows at this point, but you get the Pac-12 Mountain West, they bounce back and forth. And by the way, speaking of Pac-12, your Utes got a big win last night.
Dominating victory last night over Arizona State. So they're playing Colorado today, and looking forward to that game. We're down to the Final Eight just down the street at T-Mobile, but that's certainly going to be we're keeping an eye on that. There's 4 conference tournaments in town? Big West,
there were 5, I guess. WCC's over.
But WCC's over. I think that was the 6th because isn't the Big West and the WAC is here.
Yep.
The Pac-12 is here. The Mountain West is here. WCC, I guess it was the 5, but 4 of them are going on right now. 4 of them going on right now within this little tiny circular.
I would argue the conference tournament week is better than the opening week of the NCAA tournament. If you want to just come watch games and bet on them, you got more games on. They're on all day. And as you said, if you actually want to go to these games, you could hit 3 different conferences today or something like that.
And the prices are great. I know the price for a session tonight's not bad. Last night, the price for a 2-game session at the Pac-12 was only $40. That's 2 games. That's $20 a pop. So, yeah, it's really, really nice. Now, they soak you for those $30 beers, but that's a whole other story, right?
Mike, by the way, I am adding to your check, to making you stand for this show. So I am going to be adding to your paycheck, but you've already made it 16 minutes here. I want to talk about the Mountain West and our friend Derek Stevens. Should we take our break, I guess, and then talk about it after that?
Let's do it.
We'll take a quick 90-second break. Derek Stevens, the Mountain West and Circa, the Mountain West in Las Vegas. Let's get into that a little bit. We'll keep getting you ready for tip-off. What is it now? About 10 hours away, 10 and a half hours away. Boise State and New Mexico. Don't go anywhere. We're back in 90 seconds here on Bronco Nation News. All Bronco Nation News broadcasts come from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mix premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Spirits, perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Our title sponsor is rowpaint.com. For all your commercial, industrial, residential painting needs, check out rowpaint.com. Don't forget about their concrete coatings. Transform that ugly concrete slab on your back patio in your garage in just one day. Contact rowpaint.com for a free estimate today. The official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and our title sponsor at Bronco Nation News is rowpaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union's been helping members achieve financial success for more than 80 years. There's an ICCU branch on almost every corner, but the closest is in your pocket with free eBranch mobile and online banking. See why more than 500,000 members love ICCU and join 1 in 4 Idahoans by making the switch today at ICCU.com. Since 1984, Ridley's Family Markets has prided itself on being a hometown food and drug store that employed value members of the local community. Ridley's Family Markets has 13 locations in the state of Idaho and many more in the surrounding states. Download the new Ridley's app to your smartphone, get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line, and find a location near you at shopridleys.com. Former Bronco Matt Bauscher is once again the number one ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. No home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. Let them fulfill all your real estate needs at BauscherRealEstate.com. Mike, we got a comment here. This gentleman says, here I am stuck at work in Boise watching BJ and Prater and company living the high life in Vegas. So,
yes.
We appreciate you for watching us, even if you are stuck there at work. Mike, the Mountain West Conference, they had the football media days here. UNLV is here, obviously. The championship game with UNLV hosting it, I thought was a home run. I think it should be there every year.
Yep.
The Mountain West tournament's obviously been here. I mean, it helps, obviously, there's a team in the league. But with the Pac-12 kind of I know even the Big 12 is holding their football media days out here. They're trying to get into this area now. Everybody is,
Yep.
but there won't be, I don't think, as much of a presence, obviously, with the Pac-12 leaving. We'll see what happens with the other, conferences. But what do you make of the Mountain West and maybe Circa, but in Vegas and media days, championship games, and the relationship here? From an airport standpoint, you get easy flights to all these cities, and everybody loves coming to Vegas. It seems like it's great, but obviously could get even better.
I think it can get better, and I think people want to make it better, and I think they're moving in that direction. And coming here last July for football media days, I remember talking to a conference spokesman who was on his way to a meeting here at Circa to talk about the future of the Mountain West and a business relationship with Circa. And so this thing has been brewing for more than a year. And then yesterday, having Derek Stevens, the owner of Circa, on our show, you helped put us together, and I appreciate the relationship that you have with Derek Stevens. But and I know we're going to play a clip right here talking about the growing relationship. I think it needs to happen. The Pac-12, as you said, is ejecting from this town. No longer a championship game. The Big 10 and the Big 12 have talked about coming here. The Big 12, I know, as you know, just signed up a big deal, 5-6 more years to stay in Kansas City. So they're not bringing basketball here. The Big 10 floats its tournament around, and I think somewhere in the next 3 to 5 to 8 years, the Big 10 will come here, even if it's for a one-off.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to come to Vegas. You know what? Who should own Vegas, though, is the Mountain West Conference. And Derek Stevens talked about even volleyball and softball and all kinds of championships here. Let's make the Mountain West and Las Vegas the championship home for both of these, and hopefully more media days. They need to get a football championship game here on a regular basis, not just when UNLV hosts it. I'd love to see it at Allegiant Stadium every single year. Whether T-Mobile is going to become vacant after the Pac-12 is done this year, I don't know if it's financially feasible for the Mountain West to move over there because they got a friendly deal at Thomas and Mack, which isn't bad.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad. It's probably better. I know you've talked about even more intimate spots like the Orleans, where the West Coast Conference has their tournament. That's a 5,000 seat, 6,000
Or
seat.
the MGM Grand Arena.
Yes. So, BJ, it has to happen, right?
Yes. I mean, again, my flight was $79 or whatever to come down here. I mean, usually you can get a cheap ticket to Vegas. Hotel rooms, for the most part, there's obviously a lot of options, and it may not be the closest, but for Big Ten or something. But why would you not bring it to Vegas? So Derek Stevens, and again, Circa in particular, I think with the Mountain West is building their relationship. You mentioned the football media days. You guys had Derek Stevens on your show yesterday out by the pool. Let's hear Derek Stevens talking about the Mountain West and Las Vegas.
I mean, I think what's happened really with a lot of help, just meeting a lot of people. I mean, BJ Raines has been a great guy to help us out with the Boise State connection. We did the Mountain West Media Days event for college football last year here at Circa, and I think everybody at the Mountain West really liked it. I met with Gloria Tavares last night. I was at the women's tournament last night with Gloria and with John Sullivan, the football scheduler of the Mountain West. We just talked about how we can really grow the Mountain West in Vegas. I think there's a lot of reasons why. It makes a lot of sense for all parties. Vegas wants the Mountain West. We've got a team in the conference, and this is like it's a hometown team that has a good football stadium to use. It's got good basketball options here, and you got a city that really wants the Mountain West. So we're trying to work through a deal here to get Mountain West to look at Vegas as a hometown.
Oh, it's better for me.
In a lot of ways to anchor a handful of events. From tennis to softball, baseball, volleyball, men's and women's basketball.
It's got cloudy.
College football, where we can have Vegas as a location for the league championships on a consistent basis, where we can have a location for league meetings and media days and all kinds of great stuff. We've really come to understand how important it is for the Mountain West to be able to travel in and out of
in the pool for 10 minutes
and transportation, in time where you can get in and out of a city. This is kind of something that kind of Vegas kind of excels at. With all the convention business and things like that, it's a city it's easy to get in and out of from a lot of different cities. So there's a lot of things that are all kind of coming together here, and obviously with college sports in such upheaval over the last 12 months, I think there's a lot of reasons why I think both the Mountain West maybe wants to lock in, and Vegas certainly wants the Mountain West as the hometown conference here.
All right, there he is, and Mike Prater. Good thing we were being nice there, buddy, because I forgot to mute my mic there, so I think you might have heard what we were saying. But they're all too busy ripping on my Jayhawks from yesterday and asking when I'm going to comment about that. So that was.
Are you going to comment about that?
My wallet's a bit thinner over there. If you look, it didn't go very well.
It's been a rough couple of weeks for your old Jayhawks, man.
7-6-11, 7-10, something in the second round. Let's get a Kansas Boise State matchup. I think this could be the year that Boise State could get it done. Championship game needs to happen in Vegas every year.
Football and basketball.
Yes, the football game was awesome. It just had a different. I know it was a UNLV home game, whatever, but it just felt like a big time football game when I was there in December. And I don't know what. Maybe that's a question for Gloria Nevarez at some point. I know they were worried when they're Craig Thompson, they just wouldn't sell tickets and that wouldn't be a big draw. But for the most part, the championship games are about sponsorship dollars and TV money anyway, kind of like a bowl game. But I thought that would be a big step, I think, if they could go to that neutral site game.
I hope they make it happen. And I know they're talking about it, and there's probably lots of logistics. And, and having talked about this on Idaho Sports Talk with Ball Game over the last year, I know fans are divided. And, fans want to roll the dice and think that the game's going to come to the neutral site campus every 2 or 3 years in Boise, Idaho. And that's probably true. And it certainly makes it easier for fans. But it is so easy to get down here for a lot of fans. And I just think you nailed it for me, and that's the superficial thing. It just felt bigger. It felt more cool. It felt more neutral. It felt more championship-y when you can have it in a stadium like that. So if you can have your championship football game in an NFL arena, and you can have your basketball tournament, whether it's in Thomas and Mack or one of the fanciest, nicest new indoor NHL arenas down the street at T-Mobile, which will be available, I just want it to happen. We need to be in Vegas as much as possible. And it's not about Prater gambling or pools or going out on the strip and chasing girls. It's literally the most logistical, smartest place to have championship sporting events, and it works geographically well with Idaho. I think they need to make it happen, and thank God that Derek Stevens and Gloria Nevarez meeting at a women's basketball game trying to figure out the future of the Mountain West. Sign me up.
Let's get back to this game for the remaining time that we have, and your column. Hope folks go read it, BroncoNationNews.com. You kind of touched on it earlier in the show, but this team, Boise State, the non-conference schedule, what they did in conference, where they are. I know you're a big Ken Palm net guy. I know you're studying that for hours. I know on a nightly basis, but everything says Boise State could lose by 30 tonight, and they're still in the tournament next week. And ultimately, if you had to ask a Boise State fan, if you had to ask Leon Rice, you would take a 30-point loss tonight if you won the game next Thursday.
Yes.
Nothing that happens here matters. It's about next week.
Yes.
And that's. I don't say first time in a while, but they have not gone into the tournament. I mean, let's be honest. They've only made the tournament, a handful of times. They don't typically go into the conference tournament with this feeling that no matter what happens tonight, yeah, sure, their seed could be affected. They could drop down to a 10 seed, 11, whatever. I mean, things can happen. But nothing can happen that would knock them out of the tournament. And they don't usually, that's a rarity for them. It's only happened a couple of times. So I am kind of eager to see if they do come out and play looser. When I talked to Max Rice and Leon yesterday, they just I don't know. I told you Burns was kind of just joking, pushing guys. Not to say that they're, not focused, but it just does seem like it's not the kind of pins and needles probably for fans too going into this game that it really has been in previous years. And I'm eager to see how they come out and play. And that's because, as you said, what they've done for the last 8 or 9 months already.
You know as well as anybody because you were on the trip, but this basketball season is the longest, most physically demanding basketball season in Boise State history. It started in the middle of July with 10 practices, and then they go to they go up to Canada for those 3 games, and here they are 8 months later, still playing physical basketball. They've built the strongest, most impressive NCAA resume in school history. They've had the most successful season in school history. They're checking all the boxes. So, yes, they come into this tournament without that edge, that Max Rice edge that I like to bring up. Sometimes that's good. Are we going to? That's why the first 5-10 minutes tonight are so important. Is that edge going to be okay? Or sometimes it's okay to come out and play loose and not stress-free and just have fun. And this basketball team, when it has fun and plays loose, is a really good basketball team. They feed off each other. So I can't wait to see how that dynamic plays out. We know that New Mexico is going to be on edge. But I think Boise State's a better basketball team, and I think the coaches are too smart. By the way, Burns, I saw Burns yesterday, and you're right. He was definitely – he didn't have his game face on yet. He told me this beautiful story about how he ended up in jackpot when he was a college student, and he lost an entire financial aid check in one weekend while he was in jackpot. And he was just really happy and proud of himself and sharing gambling stories. Again, this is back when he was a poor, starving college student, and now he's one of the defensive whizzes of this basketball staff and all of college football or college basketball. So I like the approach. It's certainly different. I can't wait to see how it plays out.
You've been following this team for a long time, Mike, and no disrespect to some of the previous teams, the Nick Duncans of the world. But you look at Boise State when they line up for the national anthem with the team on the other side, and you got the Omar Stanleys of the world, the Chibuzo Abos of the world. I mean, they physically look more imposing and more like a San Diego State UNLV type team.
Yep.
And it's been morphing like that in the last couple of years. You've followed this team. They've been, sometimes more on outsmarting you and straight, skill, and now it's athleticism and toughness and rebound. I mean, what have you seen from the evolution of this program? And I guess what do you like about this year's team that would make you have confidence or believe, if you want to, that they could do something special next week?
Well, yeah. I mean, the athleticism and the getting off the bus factor is definitely spectacular. I remember back in the day, 6'6", 195 pound, kids from Walla Walla was supposed to be the star of Boise State's basketball team. That was a Rod Jensen special right there. And Greg Graham comes in and starts elevating the talent level of this basketball program. And you've just seen the evolution. So not only are there just not one really imposing physical basketball players on this team, or 2 or 3 or 4 now, that's really cool to see. The most impressive part for me, and I know this is a big one for fans, is the depth. And Leon Rice has done a masterful job in the last 6 to 8 weeks, squeezing as much depth out of this roster as he possibly can. I don't remember a team this talented in the front 5, and then as deep as they are with adding 4 or 5 more guys on the back end. And then on top of that, and this doesn't get talked about enough, the coaching staff. I would like for you to do a deep study on the coaching staff one day. Is everybody on this coaching staff a former head coach? And I think they're brilliant and really smart. Duryea on offense, Burns on defense. You got Eustace running around with his ponytail with all his experience, and you got Leon Rice. And then you just got the support staff that,
Berto's been a big part too.
Berto's been a big part of it.
Yeah.
But back in the day when I was a beat guy and I used to travel with Boise State basketball, it was literally 15 basketball players, maybe not even that, maybe 13 basketball players, a couple of coaches, an SID, and a trainer. And when we traveled with the team the other day, there was like a party of 40 or whatever the hell it was. Who are all these people? And it's the social media team and the support staff and the research staff and the analytics staff and the Alexis Williamses of the world. And it's really cool to see how this basketball team has grown. But you said the right magical words. It doesn't really matter what happens over these next 3 days. Everything leads up to next Thursday or Friday, and that's when this team's ultimately going to be judged. Can you win one NCAA tournament basketball game?
Let's hear quickly from Leon Rice. He talked yesterday just about being in Las Vegas, the conference tournament. Let the fun begin.
It has that postseason March feel to it. It's exciting, and our guys feel it. And that's one of the reasons we come down on Tuesday night to kind of get our bearings and just be part of the excitement. I want our guys to feel that. And this tournament might be the most craziest Mountain West tournament we've ever had with about 8 teams with a chance to win it. I mean, it's nuts. And I think it is one of those tournaments that, when you say, all right, if we played this thing 10 times, there would be 10 different results. It's probably true. So it's just a matter of playing your best ball, getting hot at the right time, and, hoping the chips fall your way and making them fall your way. And we're going to play a hungry team because whoever we play is probably outside looking into the big dance, and so they know they gotta battle to get in it, and we got things we're battling for too.
What do you make of the 3 seed? And you have to wait till wait late tomorrow. There'll be 3 teams that have already played 2 games in this tournament before you play 1. And then it's a unique spot that you've had some success in and also not some success.
Yeah,
in times,
it's a hard spot because I've been in all different seeds in this tournament, and there's an advantage to playing the first day. It's an advantage you don't want because for the long run, but when you come and you get the tournament jitters out, you get going on this floor, and it's a different feel. And once you play a game, you kind of get that out, and then you're just balling. And so your first game, there's some of that, and we've came out and played great in the first game too. I mean, I think it was it last year that we had 52 points at halftime against UNLV and played maybe one of the best offensive halves we'd played of the year. And so, it's just a matter of putting it all together right now for this tournament.
When you go back 6, 7, 8.
There he is, Leon Rice. Hey, Lithia Ford of Boise, LithiaFordBoise.com. We got some special guests here. I was about to do a read for this company called the Blue and Orange Store. Then there it is. We got
Dave, Mike Prater. How you doing, bud?
These guys are ready to go. We got the Travis Hawks. We got the Gardner. Who else we got here? We got the whole crew here. Yeah, I didn't have my graphic up here, but I don't have a mic to hand you. I will give you my headset though, real quick, Travis. Tell us about the game, man. How you feeling about it today?
There we go. I'm always ready to roll. I mean, listen, it's gonna be a tough game. We know that, right? It's a pick 'em. We know New Mexico State. It's hard to beat a team. Not New Mexico State, New Mexico. It's hard to beat a team.
Travis is drinking already this morning.
Early start to the day. We had a 6 a.m. flight. It's hard to beat a team 3 times, right? It's hard to beat a team 3 times in the same season. I think New Mexico is going to come out with a lot of confidence, believe they can win, and it's a tough game. I mean, that's what you get when you have a conference that has 6 or 7 teams that could end up getting into the tournament. Is there's going to be no easy outs, no easy games, and we win tonight. We have another tough one tomorrow. Mike, what do you got?
Oh, okay, that's right. We're doing this. We lost BJ's thing.
BJ's gone.
I don't feel the angst.
I've taken over the show for BJ.
You're the fan. You're the fan.
Yes.
But I don't feel the angst that maybe you do. I think Boise State is going to crush New Mexico.
Really?
Not crush. That's hard to say. First of all, New Mexico hasn't won back-to-back games in 2 months. They're not that good of a team. They had a great game last night. There's no doubt about that. And they came out on fire, and they played with some swagger, and they played with an edge. But Boise State, won 2 games by 1 by 10, 1 by 8 points. And I think that they're just a better team. Keep an eye on the first 5 minutes. As long as New Mexico doesn't come out and just crush and get physical and maybe even flatten Boise State a little bit, kind of like the beginning of that Nevada game.
Yeah,
But, if you can avoid the first 5 minutes of that Nevada game, Boise State's a better basketball team, and I think they take care of business.
Yeah, I agree with the first 5 minutes being really critical. What is your take on Nevada, Colorado State with the injury? Who wins that? And then if we do win today, what do you think happens tomorrow?
Well, you know me, I don't like Colorado State, so I'll never say anything nice about Colorado State. But Nevada's playing good basketball right now, and I like that one. I think Utah State. I was just looking at the lines, and I like Utah State to crush Fresno State tonight, even at -12, one of the biggest spreads on the board tonight. So I like Utah State to win big. I'm not sure about Utah, San Diego State. Nevada big, Boise State by comfortable margin, and I can't wait till the Friday night semifinals.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. What a great tournament this year. Even the San Diego State UNLV game this afternoon, I think it's going to be electric in there. And I think the payoff of this great Mountain West season is now this tournament where I think we're going to see some great games. And then, as we all know, we need the conference to do some damage next week.
Yes.
Next week.
It all comes down to next Thursday and Friday. Real quick question for you as we give BJ a little of a break over here because he needed one. We've been standing up for a half hour. He needed to sit down and take a quick.
BJ's taking a nap now.
We just had Derek Stevens, the owner, on. We had him on the show yesterday. We had him. We had played this sound clip. As a fan and as a businessman, we want every single thing, whether it's volleyball, softball, whatever. Every single Mountain West championship played in Vegas. You on board?
Totally on board. Is there any talk about potentially moving basketball to T-Mobile with the Pac-12 going away?
There is, but I got an answer for you. It's going to cost $1 million.
Really?
This between the sweetheart deal at Thomas and Mack and the big time deal that you're not going to get at T-Mobile Arena. When the Pac-12 vacates after this season, it is going to be available. And the Big 12 was looking at it one time before they signed up for Kansas City. And certainly the Big 10 as a one-off is thinking about coming here. But it makes a lot of sense to move the Mountain West over there. But one, it's probably too big for the Mountain West. Yeah. And two, without that sweetheart deal from the conference tie-in at UNLV, it's going to cost the conference about $1 million. Craig Thompson is famously quoted because coaches want the neutral court.
Yeah.
And he said, guys, I can do it, but neutrality comes with a cost.
Well, I agree with the original question. Let's have all the conference championships here. I think it's great. And I'm in favor. I said this after our football championship this year. Let's play the Mountain West football championship at Allegiant every year.
Yes.
It's a great place to travel to. You don't have to deal with weather. Imagine if we have to have a conference championship one year in Laramie, Wyoming in December. I mean, let's do it in Vegas. It's an NFL stadium. It's like another bowl game experience for the players. We came down, for that game earlier this year, or the end of last year, and it was a phenomenal experience. Let's do it. Let's do it every year here.
The optics are important in this day and age, and that's why there's so many blitzy, gling, fancy things here in Vegas. The optics are important, and when you play a championship game at an NFL stadium in Las Vegas, it just looks better on national TV as opposed to a half-empty stadium, even in Boise or certainly in a place like Laramie.
I also think you could start to build a culture like we have with basketball of fans from all schools, some of those fans buying tickets and planning to go and not just waiting to see if their team is in it, right? And so could you sell, 5,000, 6,000 seats, across all the schools to just say, hey, our team may be in it, we may not, but it's still Vegas in December, and we can go see the conference championship game and a good football game.
Absolutely.
I think you could do that. And obviously we're not seeing any travel to the conference championship games that are at the home stadiums. It's local fans, very little travel, and it's hard, as Boise State's seen, it's hard to resell all those tickets in a week's time frame.
That's why you do it in the season ticket package.
Yes.
And if it doesn't work out, then you credit that money back to the
next year.
To the next year.
Yeah.
How many fans do we expect in Boise State fans tonight and tomorrow?
Man, that's a good question. I feel like a lot of people, it's been building the last couple of years, and I don't know what the number was last year, but I think we'll exceed it this year with the season we've had, how good the conference is. I think it'd be really good. I've talked to a lot of people too that, with the possibility of us playing in Salt Lake or Spokane next week, are excited about that. But man, if we get into Brooklyn, that's gonna be tough for one of these other places. So I think we'll see a lot of fans. For those fans that have never come down here, it's pretty, like, the fans are into it from all the schools. It gets a little heated. The Utah State student section does not disappoint. The San Diego State fans, they come in here all revved up. Usually the Wyoming fans are very loud, but they lost last night, so who knows how that's going to be. But I think it'll be really good energy today.
And New Mexico will win the fan battle tonight because they're really, really good as well. So, but
they usually travel really well.
They usually travel really well. Yeah. And if my impromptu, laps up and down Fremont Street last night, there was probably 4 or 5 New Mexico gear.
Were you running? You were running up and down?
Yeah, I was literally jogging. I was putting in my exercise up and down between all the drunks and everything. So New Mexico does travel well. New Mexico will win the fan battle tonight, but I think Boise State will represent it well enough where they can take care of business on the court.
I think it'll be good. I'm excited. We're bringing in a special guest right here. BJ Rains is coming in, and I'm excited to welcome him in.
I just don't know why he was holding his thing like this the whole time.
He's a rookie. He's a rookie.
On your back.
Now watch out for the cord.
Travis Hawks, Blue and Orange Store, appreciate you. David Gardner, Capital 11, the whole crew's here. We appreciate them. Mike Prater. I was in the middle of trying to thank a couple sponsors before we but we got bombarded here by 6 a.m. flight. And Mike Prater, when the sponsor wants on the show, the sponsor gets on the show. So whatever, anything for the sponsors, right? The Blue and Orange Store, I mentioned it, theblueandorangestore.com. Travis and his crew do an outstanding job. Free shipping, any order over $40. Make sure you check them out at the Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. Lithia Ford of Boise. Check them out, lithiafordboise.com. View their full inventory of vehicles. They got 5 NIL deals with student athletes at Boise State. You can support them. LithiaFordBoise.com. You do what the Rains family did. We found the 2 we liked online, looked at the vehicles, went in, test drove it, and we were on our way. Check them out, Lithia Ford of Boise. Taco Bell, Mike Prater, they will give you half your wages the very next day after your shift, and they give you free food while you're working. What would be better than that? TacoBellWorks.com. We thank the Nicolason family, SON Management, for their support of Bronco Nation News. Check them out, TacoBellWorks.com. And if you need a job, another option is to get into the trucking industry, TranscomService.com. Every step of the way, the DOT overweight permits, whatever you need to get out there towing that first load in no time. Check them out, Transportation Compliance Service. And Mike, tonight, folks might need some Bronco Brew coffee. It's going to be a late night tonight, tip-off, scheduled for 9:30 Boise time. That first game goes late. You never know. So BroncoBrew.coffee. And, again, you're helping Boise State Athletics with every sip. All right, Mike Prater, final moment here, too, on the show. The fans, the 6 a.m. flight, he said, was packed with Boise State fans. We're a little over an hour away from that first quarterfinal starting. This is we kind of touched on it on the open, but, it doesn't get much better than this.
Let's get this show done, because I want to go over here and hang out with these guys at this booth. They got a bucket full of water, a bucket full of beer. This guy over here has got 3 buckets of onion rings. Are you kidding me? It's not even noon yet. Maybe it is, but buckets of beer and buckets of onion rings. Welcome to Vegas, baby, March Madness style.
Appreciate it. What do we got coming up today on Idaho Sports Talk?
Oh, we're going to dive deep into you. We're going to talk at 3:15 Boise time. We're going to hook up with our friend BJ Rains and talk about this basketball game. I know Bob Beeler, who's in town now, is also going to break it down. So we're going to break down Boise State, New Mexico basketball. But at 5:15 tonight, Boise time, 5:15 Boise time, the godfather of March Madness, the Kirk Herbstreit of college basketball, Clark Kellogg from CBS Sports, is going to join us live on Idaho Sports Talk, and we're going to talk a little March Madness. We know that he did a Boise State game this year. He's dialed into the Mountain West a little bit, but he certainly understands March Madness. Clark Kellogg at 5:15 on Idaho Sports Talk.
Please give Johnny crap during that interview, because Clark Kellogg was offering donuts. And Johnny was the first one. He almost tripped out of his seat to get down there to take a donut from Clark Kellogg.
Oh, those are on my notes, I promise you.
The Degenhart dozen. He was so fast to get down there and take one of those donuts. That's the one thing about media. Free food, and we'll take it. But I'm looking forward to that. But I just got to know, are you going to be able to do a show for 3 hours with all these games on and these lines here and stuff?
I will be able to. Johnny Ballgame might get distracted. He was over here in the corner. Have you ever seen Johnny Ballgame study so hard in his life, a betting sheet? If he had studied like that in school, he'd be the president of the United States of America.
He's apparently having a pretty good trip, though, Mike. He knows what he's talking about. Him and his mom both. She won the huge slot yesterday. So, Mike, appreciate you, man. We'll be listening. I think we're going to try to do either one or maybe two, the first 2 segments, maybe on video. A little bit of video coming later as well. I'll be on with you guys, as you said, 3:15 back in Boise, and we'll get everybody set for this one. 2 to 5 today, our team coverage, Bronco Nation News, KTIK. You can listen to them. 95.3 FM, 1350 AM, that KTIK app, KTIK.com. 3 hours of pregame, getting you set for the game tonight. And then we'll be live. The game's, 8:30, about 7:30 or so. We'll be up in the concourse, Mike Prater. So anyone that's in Vegas wants to come by, say hello. We'll be out by conveniently right next to the Dairy Queen. They have that's the best part about the Thomas and Mack Center. There's an actual Dairy Queen up on the concourse in Thomas and Mack Center. So we will be up there doing the pregame show. And then we'll be doing the post-game show courtside as well. So it's going to be a late night, long night, but pre-game, post-game, we got you covered, KTIK and Bronco Nation News. So thanks to Mike. Thanks to all you guys. I'm sorry I couldn't read a lot of your comments today. I'm about 5 feet from the screen here. We'll get to all your comments, your score predictions on the pre-game show. I mentioned 7:30. That's Pacific time. It'll be about 8:30, right, because it's a 9:30 Boise time start. So we'll talk to you about 8:30. So appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Be checking back at 3 o'clock Mountain Time for Idaho Sports Talk. He's Mike Prater. I'm BJ Rains. Go subscribe. Go follow us on social media, and we'll talk to you guys later. Appreciate it. Big one coming up for Boise State in about 9 hours. We got you covered here